Welcome to Consider Yourself Hugged. I am Tammy West, your host, and you'll notice the audio quality is not great. I've done this once before, but it's one of those days where I'm walking the dogs. It's a beautiful day, and I just felt what it is I need to talk about today. So for those of you on YouTube, I'm sorry. You're just hearing instead of seeing, although I don't know if I should apologize for you not being able to see my face. So anyway, here we are. I want to make today short and sweet. It is Thanksgiving week, and I'm sure that you all have lots and lots of things to do. But I had three things that I wanted to share, well, three tips, I think, to start the holidays that I want to share with you. And I will base them on the story of the week. I think I already told you on last episode that we had just gotten back from going to New York to see my son, and that was on last Monday. And then we got home that afternoon. And then on Wednesday, we got in the car and we drove out to see our youngest son in New Mexico. But let me even tell you a little bit more. Tim wanted to go to a place called Shiprock in New Mexico to take a picture of some big, huge rock. And that was really part of the trip too, was he was going to get this shot and he was going to have one more beautiful landscape picture. And if you look at the state of New Mexico, I'm holding my fingers as if you can see me, but Michael lives in the far southwest corner, and Shiprock is in the far northeast corner. So the plan was to drive to Shiprock, get the picture, head down to see Michael, and spend a few days with him and have a little Thanksgiving because he isn't going to be able to come home. So we're driving and we get into New Mexico, and then we get kind of close to, I think we had to go through Albuquerque was the deal, and it starts to snow. Sort of. It was really weird. It was almost like it was kind of a freezing fog, misty. I really don't know what it was. And the weather app said that nothing was happening. And we're like, well, it is. It's falling on our window. So we keep climbing in elevation. So I guess we have to go through some mountains to get to Shiprock. And we kept climbing. So it's 5,000 feet and 5,500. We get up to 6,000 feet. And it gets colder and colder. We were down to 21 degrees, and our defroster wasn't working. And so at first, he's putting the windshield wipers on and it's working. And then he's using the window stuff, because that has sort of an antifreeze in it, I guess. And that's working some. But eventually it got to the point where it was not working. So we will pull over, and we don't have a scraper. We live in Tennessee. I don't know, we should have one. We don't need one very often, but you do need one sometimes, but we didn't have one. So we had an old CD case. So, and I have pictures. I'll put video and pictures in the show notes. Tim's out there scraping ice off the car. We pull over, we drive. We pull over, we drive. And finally, it just got to the point where we were like, it's not going to work. We're not going to be able to make it. And so we turned around. I think we were probably only, I'm going to say 2 to 3 hours maybe from Shiprock, something like that. I mean, considering it was a 20-something hour drive, we were fairly close, but we couldn't make it. I mean, it was just too dangerous. So we turned around and he didn't get the shot. We met Michael Friday night instead of Saturday. So that was a big time positive. We weren't going to see him till Saturday midday, but we got there Friday night. So we got to have dinner. We went to this great Mexican restaurant. If you listen to last year's Thanksgiving episode, which I'll put a link, Michael had COVID. I'm not going to share that whole story. I think it's all in the podcast, but he had COVID and didn't get to come home during Thanksgiving. I was actually in Albuquerque a few days before for a speaking thing, so I had to stay and take care of him. Long, long story. Anyway, what was I saying? So yeah, I don't know. Oh, he's not going to get to come home again this year. So no, back up. So when I was taking care of him last year, I went to this Mexican place to get food for us, and it had the best Mexican rice I've ever had in my life. And so we went back there, and it did not disappoint. It was amazing. We had dinner with him Friday night. We stayed with him, and we got to see his new apartment. We got to watch a movie that evening. And the next day we went, I've already posted about this once, but I'll put it in the show notes, like on social media. We went, because he's near Roswell. So we went to Roswell and we went to the UFO, International UFO Museum, which was very interesting. We went to an art museum. And actually, before we got to Michael, we saw a Billy the Kid museum, which was amazing. We went to his headstone, which is kind of cool. We didn't know we were going to, but we saw it on the side of the road, so we stopped. So we did all these fun things. And we also went bird watching for a little bit. And then we went to Sam's Club and bought a rotisserie chicken. And we went to Walmart and we got stovetop stuffing and potatoes and some stuff for hash brown casserole. And we bought a pumpkin pie. And we came back to his house and we made Thanksgiving dinner. And then the next morning we went to Denny's for breakfast. Y'all probably don't need all these details, but I do have 3 points. We had breakfast together and went to see an apartment that he used to live in. And then we drove home. And it was just really a sweet time. We enjoyed it so much. And I was thinking about 3 things that are so important during the holidays. I don't think there are things that you wouldn't have already thought of, but it's a good reminder. And I'm relating them to like events that actually did happen. So the first one is just to be flexible, like we went all the way out there to try to get that shot and it just didn't happen. Sometimes things don't work out. I remember several years ago, I think I've posted about this before too. We went to a timeshare down in Orlando and spent Thanksgiving with family down there and forgot to thaw the turkey. We always forget to thaw the turkey. And so we put it in our jacuzzi tub. So I'll put a link to that too. But sometimes you just have to be flexible. You have to be creative. So that's the first thing I want to encourage you to do. The second thing is that people just want you to be present. Family, friends, most people just want time. They just want to see you. And so though we did those cool things with Michael, really just sitting on the sofa and watching a movie, that was amazing too. It's just spending time together, trying to not get bent out of shape if the plans don't go your way, just being together. I'm sorry if it's windy. And the third thing, and I think actually the biggest lesson that I need to hear, is that it doesn't need to be perfect. And you've heard me, here the dog's here, come on puppies, you've heard me talk about perfectionism before, and it's something I for sure battle. But this was such a great reminder because Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday of the year. So I'm sorry, Christmas lovers, and I am a Jesus following Christian, so it doesn't have anything to do with that. I just mean the actual time of it, because it's just about getting together and eating food. And my grandmother always made it so special. So for most of my adult life, our Thanksgivings have been huge. I think the biggest one we ever had, we had like 35 people. And I'm just going crazy making every single dish you can imagine. No, we have to use the china. No, we have to make it homemade. No, we have to do this. No, we have to do that. And I still love making those special recipes and will. But you know what? The Costco rotisserie chicken was amazing. The stovetop stuffing was fine. Just having that Walmart pumpkin pie, no, it wasn't the best. But we will never forget this Thanksgiving. And that's the important part of this, is that you want to make memories. So share your stories. Thank you for joining today. I told you I wanted it to be short, which, gosh, I think we're going to be like barely 10 minutes. But I want to wish you a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I hope that you spend time with people you love. If you can't be with family, that you can be with friends. If you're working, that you will that people around you will still show you love and kindness. That if you go to a store on Thanksgiving Day and someone is working, that you will show them love and kindness. That if there's someone alone, you will invite them and make them a part of your celebration, which is what Michael's friend is doing. All of those things. I hope that you will be flexible. I hope that you will just spend time. And I hope you will understand that it doesn't need to be perfect. And in fact, when it's not, that's when the most fun. So happy Thanksgiving. And until we are together next time, consider yourself hugged